All right, welcome back to another episode of the Carter Cast. We are back. I'm your host, Carter Bond. It's me, it's Dylan, it's Connor. We're talking football, baby. We're back talking football. We're recording right now. We're going to watch the NFL draft with you. We were going to do a live show. I'm going to edit it down, so you don't have to watch us for 2.5 hours, listen for 2.5 hours on the podcast. And no, we're gonna edit it down for you. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna get the talking points in right away, live reactions. It's gonna be an awesome show. I can't wait. First off, let's start off with the people who have the number one overall pick. Before we go, we're recording right now. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time. The draft is just starting. Panthers are about to be on the clock right now. Connor, let's go, baby. We're about to have Bryce Young. Bryce Young is about to be a Panther. I said it all college football season, all football season. I said I want Bryce Young to be a Panther. Bryce Young is my favorite quarterback in this class. Do you feel the same?
At this moment in time, I do. I wasn't always sold on that. There was a moment I was like, man, maybe Frank Reich is right. CJ Stroud, better build. You know, Bryce Young's size, I'm not worried about it as much anymore. Like, yes, if he gets hit, it's going to be a little scary. So be it. You know what? He played quarterback in college. He was really good for Alabama. Best program in the nation. I'm not too worried about it. And I think if you're the Panthers and you trade that much, because they did give up a haul, that much for the number one pick, you can't miss. You can't miss. And if you take Levis, Richardson, that's such a gamble. And they both probably would have been there at 9. Maybe not Levis, but it's such a gamble. You can't miss. Bryce Young is the clear-cut number one pick. And I hope they don't screw it up. I hope there's no funny business, you know? Hope there's no funny business.
This is a gamble worth taking. This is when you put your nuts on the table and you say, we're here. We're going to get the quarterback we want. We're going to control the draft board. Because the thing is, look, hindsight's always going to be 20/20. I know at the end of next season, let's say Bryce Young is terrible. He's too small. He gets hurt. Then everyone's going to say, oh, well, you knew this, blah, blah, blah. But if he's great, this is going to be the biggest no-brainer trade of all time. We have been begging for a quarterback as Panthers fans for years now since Cam Newton left. It's worth it. This is a risk they had to take. This is a risk that Fritter had to take to keep his job. Frank Reich gets to coach the quarterback he wants. It's match made in heaven. As a Panthers fan, it's great. We'll talk once the Panthers pick Bryce Young. Let's switch over to the Titans fan over here, Dylan over here. Talk about the Titans moving up to 3. I know you're relieved. I wanted CJ Stroud to go to the Titans for my own selfish purposes for content. Talk to me. What are we feeling right now going in? You guys are at 11. You guys want to trade up? What's the deal here?
The full disclaimer before we get started, not a draft guy. I don't get the draft. I don't get the trades. What I will say, anybody but Stroud. Wherever we trade, I don't care if we get rid of Derrick Henry. I think his best years are behind him probably. If we want to get some draft capital by dishing him out, whatever. I will not be upset with anything. I'll be open to anything except drafting C.J. Stroud. 18th percentile on the S2. Cannot process what's going on the field. Cognition, below average. What do you expect from an Ohio State guy? Anybody but Stroud is who I want. I don't care if we go 3, 11, 45, anyone but Stroud.
I want Stroud so bad. I want Stroud so bad to the Titans. Like, please, for us. We need the content. Like, we need it so bad.
I will be a Dolphins fan. I've already made that
commitment. You can't switch teams. You can't do that. We've talked about that. You can't switch teams.
Oh. I will. My brother-in-law is a Dolphins fan. I told him I'm jumping on ship if we draft Stroud.
You know what, Dylan? CJ Stroud's not going to be taking a test every Sunday, so come on. I'm with the TikTok comments here. Come on, Dylan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like a test has never predicted any type of intelligence performance before. That just doesn't happen.
Pointless.
And Daniel Tosh said it perfectly. Daniel Tosh said it perfectly. You mean you're stupid. You're a bad test taker. You mean you're stupid. So I'm the only one that has wagers on this, so I want to get this out of the way. I hedged out Levis to go number 1 with Bryce Young to go number 1 after the Reddit thing. Biggest need of the night is Will Levis number 2 overall.
Okay.
C.J. Stroud currently minus 1,600.
I think it was minus 2,400 last time I looked.
Oh, it might have just gone crazy. That's the interesting part. We'll talk about the Texans real quick. That's the interesting part with Houston is that it seemed like nobody in the building really wanted a quarterback, but the owners are like, you guys got to get a quarterback, and the GMs have to save their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Mills, I think it's pretty obvious he's not the guy. He hasn't put up awful numbers, but it's definitely not what they were looking for.
I mean, if you're the Texans,
it'll be interesting.
If you're the Texans, I don't know. I mean, number two, like if you don't feel very strongly about a guy, I know the GM's probably fighting for his job, but if you don't feel that strongly, next year's class looks pretty good on paper right now. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to be in the top 5 again next year. I know that's another year of losing, which owners don't want, but man, if you're not in love with the guy at number 2, why would you force it with a quarterback?
I just wonder what the trade down possibilities would have been. The interesting part is they were trying to go get one for Bryce Young and then the Panthers swooped in and said, no, it's ours.
Yeah. I think it's worth the risk for the Panthers. I don't know. If you're the Panthers, you got to take that risk. They've been very lackluster in the quarterback department, as we well know. Sam Darnold's not the guy.
I don't care about any of this. That's the thing. I just get to the picks. Literally, they draw this thing. It could be a 1-hour thing. All 32 picks, 1 hour long.
That is the frustrating part. Is it drags.
It does drag.
It drags. And
gosh,
like
Mahomes.
this is just stupid. Anyhow, talking about the drafts in Kansas City. Kansas City barbecue is the most overrated barbecue or food in this country. It is not good.
Oh man, it's nothing like North Carolina, is it, Carter?
Carolina barbecue wipes the floor with Kansas City barbecue. I went and and this is probably going to get TikTok. So I went to Joe's Barbecue in Kansas City.
Okay.
No, not it. I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype at all. It's so dry.
I can't say that I've ever tried it. I've never been to Kansas City.
You're not missing. You're not missing a thing.
I will say we have Kansas City like sweet barbecue here, like at some restaurants. No good. Oh, come on, Goodell. They're on the clock.
Baby.
Let's go.
Oh baby,
Let's
the
go.
Carolina
Let's
Panthers
go.
are on the clock. All right,
Now, can I air something out real quick? An issue that I have.
go.
The Panthers have known they've been on the clock for the past month and a half. Why are we even counting down 10 minutes here? The pick should be there, just like that. The pick should be there. We don't have to.
Let's wait. Let's see if they use the full 10 minutes.
They're doing it because they could screw around with Mahomes and Kelsey and the trophy and giving ESPN time to do whatever they want to. You know what? Good.
Get that ad
Good.
revenue.
Good. Yes. Good.
Good for ESPN.
Exactly.
Very good.
Very
good.
Very smart. Look at those great
Guess
camera
you're right.
shots of the Panthers
Shouldn't
fans.
trash it like that.
But let's talk about it. They're showing the trade right now. Panthers get the first overall pick. We give up DJ Moore, the 2024 first-round pick, and a 2025 second-round pick. And then we got back a second-round pick, right?
I don't think so.
I thought we got back a second-round
No, I think it's this year's first and second and another first and second and DJ Moore. Oh, there's the draft room.
There's the draft, and there's David Tepper.
Oh, I had a happy birthday mom sign on the computer screen right there.
Oh, man. But anyhow, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers real quick. They make this trade, and I know this. I know, we're going to do summer podcasts. We'll do interviews with former athletes, coaches here and there. And then I'm going to be so desperate for football. I'm going to be watching every training camp video, every little snippet that the beat reporters put out. I'm going to be DMing beat reporters down in Spartanburg, being like, tell me everything about Bryce Young. Give me every positive thing. Don't tell me one negative thing about him. And I'm going to talk myself into the Panthers making the Super Bowl. It's happening.
I can't wait till you get the first message. Yeah, he's having trouble seeing over the line. Yeah, he's having trouble getting the ball up. He's having trouble getting the ball up over that line.
He did it at Bama.
Exactly. Bama had an NFL
It's
offensive
not college
line.
anymore.
Ugh. He was playing
Not
NFL.
college anymore.
The SEC, it means more, Dylan. So he was basically playing the NFL.
But the thing is, okay, Dylan, besides his size and his frame, obviously, do you dislike Bryce Young? Do you think he's just not a good quarterback in general?
No, I think he's fine. I think the injuries are a little worrisome. Size is the big thing, and I think I don't know. I just think Levis is probably the best decision maker, and we've talked about it a little bit.
Okay, please,
Oh, here we go.
please
Here we go.
explain why he was the best decision maker, and it wasn't Bryce Young.
Because he made plays happen.
Bryce Young. Did you watch one Alabama game?
But Bryce Young's working with a whole wide receiver roster that is probably going to get drafted in the first round in the coming 3 years. Will Levis wasn't working with any of that. He was. It's the same thing with C.J. Stroud.
But Bryce Young made those plays happen. He made those plays happen. He got
You're
out
right,
of pressure.
I'm not-
He had one of the worst offensive lines in the SEC, without question. He had a young wide receiver group. You can say, oh, they're the Bama wide receivers. They're not the typical Bama wide receivers. Jalen Waddle wasn't on that roster. Henry Ruggs wasn't on that roster. Julio Jones wasn't on that roster. Those were not big-name players at wide receiver this past year.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that Bryce Young didn't extend plays and make plays happen. But if you're going to give me a guy like Will Levis that maybe didn't do that, but is a decent size for a quarterback, has proven that he can make decent decisions given the clientele that he has, compared to Bryce Young, who is short, small, and what was I going to say? Injury prone. He had an injury over this past year, didn't he?
It wasn't serious or anything. He was out for a game and a half.
I don't know.
And the thing about Will Levis is, when you watch Will Levis, like, what made you think this guy is a pro? There was never one moment where I'm sitting there, wow. The worst, like, I watched the entire Kentucky versus Florida game. I rewatched the tape prior to this draft show. It was awful. Watching Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, that was one of the worst games of all time, and that's supposed to display two maybe top 5 picks in this draft. They didn't look like NFL guys. They're not ready. Anthony Richardson is obviously a project. We know that. But Will Levis, he threw for 200-plus yards once in SEC play. I understand you're saying his clientele was terrible, but it wasn't that bad. And also, we talk about, their clientele was awful, and then they want to say, Will Levis is like Josh Allen. Josh Allen's clientele was terrible. He had awful players at Wyoming, but he really made things happen. Will Levis did not. Like, Kentucky was blech. Their defense is what made things happen.
I think when you're talking about Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, you're talking about two quarterbacks from historied elite programs, and then you're talking about I guess you could say Florida is historied, but not in recent years, and Kentucky, who hasn't been relevant in college football for however long. So I hear what you're saying.
But the programs don't matter. The programs don't matter. The players matter.
They do.
No. It doesn't.
Alabama gets a different breed of player than Kentucky does. Ohio State is going to get a different breed of player than Florida does.
So you're saying, therefore, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud are a different breed. That means they're better than Will Levis?
I'm saying they're working with better players. They're working with better receivers. They're working with a better line, better running backs.
So, but
they're working with
by
a whole other
by
caliber.
that logic is horrible, because then therefore Joe Burrow would not have been a great quarterback in the NFL if you say that, because he had he had literally Pro Bowl receivers on his roster. He had top first round running backs on his roster, and so therefore you're saying he's not going to be great.
But you're looking at Joe Burrow as one example of that whole quarterback. Let's look at Justin Herbert. He wasn't working with any superstars.
What are you talking about? Oregon recruits the best out of the best.
Josh Allen was not working with superstars at Wyoming. Patrick Mahomes was not working with superstars at Texas Tech. And those are three of the best quarterbacks that were.
I understand that, but they showed they can make plays. They were making outrageous plays in college. Will Levis wasn't. Will Levis didn't show that. And it doesn't. And the program is so irrelevant. Anybody can come from a program and become a great NFL player. And I understand you're saying, well, it's the pieces around them. It's the pieces around them. But that's irrelevant, because people who have not had great pieces around them have done well and done poorly, and then people who have had great pieces have done well and done poorly as well. So you can't use that as an end-all be-all excuse. And also, before we keep going, the Panthers pick is in. And they're probably not going to come to the stage for 10 minutes, so keep going.
I just think there's a reason there was not a lot of buzz around Will Levis or Anthony Richardson until after the season, really. I mean, there's a reason Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud got all the hype during the year. They're making plays. Yes, they're at better programs. There's a reason they're at better programs. I think they're a better fit for the league.
And I also can kind of disagree with that. I can understand where Dylan's coming from with that, because, like,
I mean, there's going to be exceptions no matter what. But like you said, Carter, I watched some Kentucky games. Nothing Will Levis did was like, man, that was a pro-ready quarterback that
every time I watch a Will Levis
game, ready to pick apart a defense.
Every time I watched a Will Levis game, I'm sitting there thinking, why is he a first-round quarterback?
And didn't he have an injury? Didn't he have a minor injury during the year too? Just saying.
I don't remember.
Didn't he have that thumb thing? I might be wrong.
Injury, but the thing is, like, injury stuff, I understand. That's the only stipulation, because every single person In every NFL expert, every single person would say if Bryce Young was 2 to 3 inches taller, he'd be the number 1 pick in this draft.
At
But
the end
that's
of the
not
day,
the situation. If
at
my
the end of
aunt
the day,
had balls, she'd be my uncle. That's the whole thing.
At the end of the day, well, would she? At the end of the day, at the end of the day, he can make decisions. He can make plays. He can play football. He's a good football player. Yes, size sucks, but you can't change that. You can't teach height. He's gone with it this long. There's nothing to make me think he can't do it at the next level. Here we go.
Okay.
Cut,
okay.
Connor. Cut.
Here we
Panthers
go.
are making the pick. Let's go.
Welcome home. Welcome
Bryce
home.
Young is a Carolina Panther.
Home.
Welcome home, Bryce Young.
Happy for you guys.
Let's
Happy for
go.
you guys.
Let's go. Bryce Young is officially a Carolina Panther. I'm so happy. We have our
Huge.
quarterback
That's
for the
huge.
future. I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. Now the draft really starts at 2. This is why you do the show, is to get ready for this number 2 pick. I'm very excited.
Think about this, Carter. Think about this, Carter. Do you know how much more exciting it's going to be with Bryce Young? Like, remember last game every year, I was like, man, Sam Darnold, who's going to be the starter this week? With Bryce Young, I'm going to be very excited to watch every game because even if he's not perfect, I'm going to get a glimpse into the future. It just brings the excitement up.
And that's the biggest part about, being a fan, watching these games constantly and everything. Sell me on hope. Just give me hope. That's all I ask. Especially as a Carolina sports fan, just give me hope.
100% I agree.
I'll tell you guys, as a Titans fan, I've been there. You guys will love finishing second in your division. It is a blast. little first round playoff exit. I'm happy for
So
you
be
guys.
it. So
it's
be
fun.
it.
It's fun just to make it.
No. We're winning Super Bowls here.
Oh, no, it's already starting.
Yeah.
We're winning Super Bowls here.
When,
It's okay. But the thing is, I will say this, now that it's official that Bryce Young is a Panther, I have locked in the Panthers to win the NFC South at plus 380. And I
already locked him in.
And I will be putting more on it.
I already locked him in.
Oh, that jersey is beautiful.
The fact that we're 20 minutes in and we have 1 pick is worrisome.
Number 2 pick, Houston's on the clock.
Pick is in. Come on.
All right, the pick is in. Here we go.
Levis or Stroud? Come on, Levis or Stroud? All right, he's up. Come on.
Connor and I know.
I'm ahead. I saw it.
Yes! Let's go! He's not a Titan.
Oh, my gosh.
CJ
Nothing
Stroud.
makes me more happy than having that guy in our division, playing that guy twice a year. Let's go!
CJ Stroud going to the Houston Texans. The owner had to put in that pick.
That's a reach. I'm telling you, that's a reach. I don't think they were in love with him. There would have been more buzz around it saying, oh, it's a lock. Bryce Young number 1, Stroud number 2. They're not in love with him. I don't think they knew what they were doing up until today, probably. I don't know if I love that or not.
We got to find out if the Cardinals are able to trade out of this pick. All right.
I just think it's a reach. I think it's a reach.
Okay, here it is. Got it.
Here we
Field
go.
Yates.
Here we go.
Shout out Field Yates. Well, all right, let's let them announce the pick real quick, and then I'll give you guys the trade package and see what you guys think.
Here comes Goodell.
Ba-da-dum-bim-bim. All right, Will Anderson is officially a Houston Texan. He's awesome. I feel like people are overthinking the Will Anderson thing. Like, yeah, he didn't have as great of a year as people thought he would going into this past season. He still played out of his mind, and every single offensive line was scheming around him, double-teaming him, going after him, making sure he wasn't involved. And he still had double-digit sacks and had 17 tackles for losses. Like, he had a phenomenal year. But Will Anderson is a Texan. You guys want to hear the price real quick?
I do.
Yes.
I'll give my take after the...
The price is the Cardinals trade pick 3 and pick 105 to Houston. So Houston has pick 3 and pick 105. The Texans traded to the Cardinals, so the Cardinals receive pick 12, 33, and next year's first-round pick, and next year's third-round pick.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That feels like more than what we gave up for Bryce Young.
Oh, he just picked up Goodell.
Oh, man.
That's insane. That's a lot. You have to love this player, and this guy has to be Micah Parsons-esque to give up that kind of haul. That is
I was going to say, He has a very high ceiling from what I can tell, and the Texans must have really loved him, honestly. They must have been stuck between a rock and a hard place. Owner saying quarterback, Texans coaching staff saying we got to have this guy on our team. Enough to mortgage a little bit of the future next year. Maybe they think they're going to be a little bit better next year. I don't know.
That's
a lot.
No,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's too much.
It's a lot of faith to put in C.J. Stroud.
Because the thing is, like, they had pick 12 and 33 this year. You have too many holes to fix to where the Texans have way too many holes to fix. You can't give up those picks now. Will Anderson's a great player. I love Will Anderson. I think he's going to be a fantastic pro. But I think quantity over quality here, or potential quality and quantity over proven quality, I think.
I mean, I think you said it best. The Texans have so many holes to fill. There's so many gaps on their team. Even, their defense especially. They got their quarterback, sure. I think there's too many holes to fill. I think a couple of guys at 12 and 33 for a team in that situation, I mean, they must have really loved Will Anderson.
The D'Amico Ryans is an Alabama guy. That was 100% his call. 100% his call. That was getting leaked out all week. That's why Will Anderson was – the betting markets were going crazy on him at the number 2 overall pick. This is crazy, man. That's a lot.
Can I ask a betting philosophical question?
Go for it.
Of course.
So about 2 hours before the draft, C.J. Stroud gets steamed up to like minus an ungodly amount of number to go second. What do you think?
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Being that close to the draft, is that inside job or is like how does that happen?
There's
no way people just come together and think, oh, they're gonna do this and be right about it.
So yeah, let's talk about that real quick because that's a great point you bring up. I think it's just people got good information and they knew. That's part of that when it's that close to the draft. But when it's 2 days ago and a Reddit post does the whole Will Levis thing, if you didn't see this on social media, someone posted Will Levis has told his family and everyone that he's going to the Carolina Panthers, like some random post on Reddit. And then all of a sudden the betting markets moved him from plus 4,000 down to plus 400.
That's called the sports books trying to make up for all the liability they have with Bryce Young. They're literally just spreading the propaganda out there, getting people to take Will Levis because of all that hype.
That was 100% the sports books. That was 100%. They knew their biggest liability was Bryce Young, and they put that out there to get the fear of God into people. And think,
I think so, too.
I can get good value on Will Levis, plus 400. It's moved this much. I have to do it.
They made a little bit of money back at 100%.
Will Levis became their biggest liability at 1. That's the dream.
See, I thought that it was somebody trying to get a better price on Young. Like some driving the price of Young down. They have Levis at 41 or whatever, trying to get Young down.
But I think the sportsbook have more power to where they can say, hey, like, and they moved the lines so much to where because the Bryce Young lines didn't move like crazy. It went from like 2,000 to like 1,200, which isn't like that's a big jump, but it's not that crazy, like when it's that juiced up of odds. But 40-1 to 4-1 is insane.
That is crazy. I didn't think about the sportsbook point of view for that.
Do you think there was any?
Everything. They know everything. Like they know.
I got a question. Do you think there's any backdoor talk about? All right, the Texans are going to trade up. Like they had to have some talks about this trade earlier. Was there any back talks about like, man, did Stroud go 2 or will Anderson go 2 and the other one go 3? Like,
yeah,
do you think there was any like finagling around back there?
They kind of boned one of them because don't you lose like a mil or two if each pick you go down?
Well, there's that, and also, yeah, like maybe they're like, oh, the biggest liability at number 2 is Will Anderson. Let's drop him to 3 and put Stroud number 2 because they're going to pick both of them anyways.
Wow, the sports books were in their ears. That's
I'm
genius.
just saying, guys.
That's genius.
You can't put it past them. They were saying, you know what? Take Stroud 2 if you're going to trade with the Cardinals for sure. Take Anderson 3 because he was a bigger liability at 2. There's my take.
That's genius. That's so smart because Will Anderson became the biggest liability at 2 by the time the draft started.
There had to be trade talks already, so there was probably a lot of talk about Houston having both those picks. You don't think they told him who to take where? Just saying. I don't know.
Connor, that's genius. That's genius.
Oh, here we go.
Colts at 4.
Here we go.
About to pick. Here we go. Quarterback time.
Right. Levis, come on.
Whoa! Anthony Richardson.
No way!
Anthony Richardson is an Indianapolis Colt.
No
Will Levis.
shot.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was hoping we'd get him. I'll be honest. I was hoping for Richardson.
Wow.
That would have been nice.
Wow. All right.
Didn't it get-
Seattle's now where it gets interesting because if Tennessee doesn't trade up to get Will Levis, they're in the Hendon Hooker sweepstakes.
I wouldn't mind that.
But he's not playing for a
Wouldn't
year.
mind that.
You have to rob Malik Willis.
Tannehill's got a year.
Wow.
Tannehill's got a year on his contract.
Anthony Richardson
That is
to the
shocking.
Indianapolis Colts.
I gotta say-
love this pick. I love this pick.
I don't know. I'm not as sold on Richardson. You have to be able to actually throw the football. Like, I know his athleticism is off the charts. He's a project. There's a chance he'll be insane. His floor is a lot lower than some of these other guys. I think his floor is lower than Levis.
I think he's got the lowest floor for sure. I'm not saying that.
But his ceiling is up there, I'll say.
Yeah, the biggest issue is the Colts don't have enough weapons. The Colts don't have enough weapons to put around him. They do have a decent offensive line, so that's a big, big, big positive. The weapons aren't quite there yet. Maybe they could make some moves in trades or later in this draft or whatnot.
Do you think that played into it? You think that played into them taking Richardson over Levis because they don't have a lot of weapons? Richardson's more of a dual threat. He can move the ball on his legs. You think that played into it a little bit? Because Levis wouldn't have had as many guys to throw to, whereas Richardson can get outside the pocket a little bit better since they don't have those weapons. I don't know.
I think that's part of it, and I also think Chris Ballard, Colts haven't been playing well these past few years. Job might be getting a little warm. Chris Ballard, kind of on the hot seat, had to swing for the fences here and said, "Screw it, let's go, let's just ball out. Like, this is my last shot." It's when you're at the casino, you got $5 left, and you're like, Red 7.
That was me last night. That was literally me last night. That was me last night.
Red 7.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of like the pick. I kind of like the pick at 4. I think that's a fun one. Like, if you're a Colts fan, you're talking yourself into him being better than Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you're a Colts fan, and I 100% would. The other thing about the Colts that's going to be super fun is they're a Thursday night football team now. They're a classic, hey, these guys are going to be on Thursday night, every night, whatever.
Yep.
Anthony Richardson's must-watch TV.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a playmaker for sure. I think that's a good pick by them. I think Will Levis was the safer pick, but if you're in the Colts position, you kind of had to take this jump.
I kind of like it. They're saying they're comparing him to Donovan McNabb.
Ah, man, that's I don't know. Elite mobility, yeah, sure. He's got to be able to throw the ball though. I'm just really curious to see how he throws the ball.
You know who PFF had Stroud's comparison to, NFL comparison?
Who?
Ryan Tannehill. I'm dead. I'm not even joking.
Noted Tannehill guy, Titans fan, Dylan Wilkerson.
He doesn't run.
Just saying.
He doesn't run.
No, he doesn't. Oh, don't even get me started.
Well,
on
it's
this.
okay
Oh.
because C.J. Stroud is not a Panther, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Or a Titan. So we're good.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. And the thing is, like, I wasn't big on C.J. Stroud. I would have talked myself into it. I wouldn't have been as pumped immediately.
You would have had to talk yourself into him.
Trading up to 1, I would have been a little bummed taking C.J. Stroud, but hey, I can't be upset right now. Not Anthony Richardson. Sorry, he's on my screen right now. Bryce Young at 1. I'm thrilled. C.J. Stroud to the Texans. If you're an anti-C.J. Stroud fan, they're in your division. You kind of have to be happy he's at Houston. If you're a pro C.J. Stroud fan, it would be bad. But and now Anthony Richardson, you're going against a young QB division.
Not too thrilled about that one, but that's okay.
This is the Jags division.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, Dylan.
How is it not the Jags? The Jags are by far the best team.
I wouldn't say so. If we have Tannehill healthy for all of last year, we're by far the best team in that
But
division.
this coming year, though.
By far.
This next year, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the best team in the AFC South.
I agree.
I mean, it depends how this plays out, obviously, but I mean, I would say going before the Titans or the Jaguars make any picks, make any trades. If Tannehill's healthy, the Titans are better than the Jaguars.
Oh, I don't know about that. Jags just got Calvin Ridley. Dylan, they got some guys. They got some guys.
Playoffs. The Jags won a playoff game.
Guys, it took not having our quarterback for half the season for the Jaguars to win the division. It came down to the last game of the year.
Dylan, the Titans are down on the down.
You don't think Derrick Henry has his best years behind him?
Okay, Pause. What has changed from last year to this year other than the fact that last year we didn't have our starting quarterback for half the season?
Derrick Henry's got some more mileage on his legs. That's what.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars got better.
Jags got a lot better.
Trevor Lawrence is way better than he was year 1 to year 2, and then he's going to make a bigger progression in year 3. And then
now that's an assumption.
That's
an assumption that you're making.
And the Titans' ceiling is so low. It's so low.
But that in the AFC South, it doesn't have to be high.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The Titans are so.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
No. Oh, that was so nice. We're so
wow,
polite to
guys,
each other.
so
You
respectful.
go ahead, Corey.
Well, guys,
you go ahead. Hey,
I'll
ladies
go
first. Ladies first.
The Titans have the lower ceiling, right? But their floor, if they have a healthy quarterback, is much higher than the Jaguars' floor.
Okay,
We've seen that.
I have a question
That's
for you.
2021.
I have a question for you. So you're saying that with a healthy Tannehill. What if they get Levis and Tannehill's out or something happens with him? What if the Titans' starting quarterback is Levis? How do you feel? Then what?
I'm not in despair. I don't think we finish in last of the AFC South.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm as confident that we're the best team in the division, but I don't think you can sit here and say as of right now, with none of our picks being made, that the Jaguars are 100% better than the healthy Titans team, because they haven't been.
I think they are.
But Carl, you can't.
Okay,
point
but
point
no.
anything.
But I understand that. But even if Tannehill was healthy all year, would they have won the division?
Yes, they would. It wouldn't have came down to the last game. It's as simple as that.
And
we
also,
don't have to play Malik Willis.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that for last year. But this coming year, I feel better about Trevor Lawrence's progression. Yes, it's an assumption. He's shown nothing to make me think he's not going to have a good year this year, and they've got more weapons. They added more weapons. I like what they've done, even before their picks.
Do you remember the first half of that playoff game?
You have to be
Jaguars-Chargers.
Yeah, it was his first playoff game. That's fine. This is going to be an 18-week regular season. He's going to get better every week. Yeah.
You can't say that though. You can't say. Did you watch the first half? I was like, yeah, but did you watch the second half too? He won that game.
But if you want to talk about ceilings and floors, you can't sit here and say that the Titans' floor is lower than the Jaguars, because we saw the lowest of low floors
for a half.
The Jaguars.
For a half, not 18 games.
There, because I also think Mike Vrabel is an elite coach. I think he's a phenomenal coach, but I like the Jaguars' talent more. I like where they can be. I just think Trevor Lawrence takes them to that next level that the Titans aren't going to be able to keep up with. Derrick Henry, he's probably on the back half of his career. Ryan Tannehill, they're already talking about wanting to get a quarterback to replace him. Like, there are things that, if I'm a Titans fan, I am very worried about the next 3 to 4 years.
So that's fair, but now you're talking about the future and steps that are being made, and I would agree with you. I'm not as confident about that, but I'm saying if we're looking at last year and then assuming nothing changes going into this year, I don't think you can say the Jaguars are the best team in that division.
But things are going to change, is the thing.
That's true, and they are. And I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to make all of the right decisions and we're for sure going to be the best team in the division next year.
And how much, as a Titans fan, how worried are you about your wide receivers?
Oh, we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about the wide receiver position.
They might have the worst receivers in the league right now.
Well, that will change tonight.
How? What if you guys go quarterback?
We'll draft. Huh?
What if you guys go quarterback?
Here's Goodell. Here's Goodell.
Goodell. All right. Right now we're live. Number 5 pick. The Seahawks are picking right now. Here it is.
Wow.
Oh, corner.
Good pick for them.
Wow.
Good pick for them.
All right.
He's a good player.
Will Levis does not go top 5.
They did need pass defense.
Yeah, they did. They needed it real bad. That's a fine pick.
That's good.
Yeah, you can't fault them for that at all.
Yeah, no. And also
just sign Gino an extension. They didn't need to reach on the quarterback.
And honestly, if you're the Seahawks, you signed Gino. The quarterback you drafted this year wasn't going to play anyways because you signed Gino again. Gino was always going to start. And if you don't love the quarterbacks that are available right there, I don't hate that. Next year's QB class is going to be awesome with
I was about to say
Williams. Next
year's class is a lot better in my opinion, and if they're not that good, then they'll have another top pick next year, so they can go right back to the quarterback.
Now, do the Lions go with Christian Gonzalez from Oregon? Because they need pass defense too. Are we about to see back-to-back corners?
Oh, man.
When does Jalen Carter go?
Bears.
Oh man, that
Really think so?
I think
he might be gone. He might be gone by then.
That's what scares me. That's what really scares me as a Panthers fan is because if the Bears draft Jalen Carter at 9 and we traded all that and Bryce Young doesn't work out and Jalen Carter is arguably the most talented player in this draft, that's bad.
There's some baggage with him because of what happened with the driving and everything. But in 10 years, when people look back at this draft, they're going to be like, oh, the Panthers traded out of this pick where he went. Yeah, you're right. That could be catastrophic. We don't need the Bears pick to be good.
It's so deceiving because I can't watch a lot of Big Ten football because I care about my mental health and it's so bad. Watching like these Illinois highlights of Witherspoon, he looks awesome. Like you just watch these highlights, you're like, oh, this guy is insane. Like he's better than Jalen Ramsey, and then you just have no idea. Okay, we're back. The Lions have just traded the 6th overall pick to the Cardinals. So Cardinals traded out of 3, and now they're coming back in, going into number 6 now. So the Cardinals gave up pick 12, 34, and 168, and they get picks 6 and 81. That's all right.
I think for the Lions, that's a good move.
Yeah, I think for the Lions,
good for Lions. Yeah,
I think it's good for the Lions too. They're just in a better situation as the
they are
Detroit. They have more room to play with. I'm interested to see where the Cardinals go here. The pick is in. We'll talk about it here in a second. So far to recap, we have Bryce Young 1, Stroud 2, Will Anderson 3, Anthony Richardson 4 to the Colts, 5 Devin Witherspoon from Illinois to the Seahawks cornerback, and now the Cardinals at 6. It's been a little crazy, but it hasn't been crazy in this draft. Paris Johnson, offensive tackle.
Oh, that stinks. I needed Skronsky, first offensive lineman.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's crazy. Hey, they traded up for that. That's nuts. I thought the Steelers were going to trade up for an offensive tackle like that. That's interesting.
Would he have fallen to 12 where they were? Probably not is what they were thinking.
I think one of those two,
one
of the two, the Northwestern guy or Johnson would have fallen. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
They must have really liked him over the other guys in that position.
Okay. Falcons on the clock at number 8. Here we go, baby.
Here we go.
Wow.
No way. What did we just talk about, Carter? You said they were set there. They were set there.
They don't need a running back. That's a bad pick.
Gone are the days of Tyler Algier touchdown props.
No, Tyler Algier, my sweet, sweet Tyler Algier. I'm even wearing BYU shorts. No. Hey, as a Panthers fan, great pick. Why? You have so many other holes to fill. If you're a Falcons fan, why? You don't need that. That's crazy. To the Falcons.
He's a good player. I think he's going to work out great for the Falcons. But if you're the Falcons, you're kind of already set at that position. I don't know if Algier and Cordell Patterson are upper echelon of running backs, but they didn't have a glaring hole there. The
Eagles just traded up to 9 to take the Bears pick. They swapped.
Wow.
They moved up a spot. Are they going for Jalen? They're going for Jalen Carter.
This has to be Carter. Yeah, this has to be Carter.
Ooh, interesting.
Or it's Levis because Jalen Hurts is cooked.
That's the Bears know they're going offensive line, and that's smart.
I think the Bears can move back and get who they want.
Wow, but let's talk about the Falcons getting Bijan Robinson real quick. I don't understand this. They have Tyler Algier, who showed he was a 1,000-yard rusher. Like, you don't need it. He's on a super cheap deal. Go swing for the fences and go get a defensive player. Is this Arthur Smith being like, I need my Derrick Henry?
Ooh, he could have just traded us for him.
This was an Arthur Smith pick. There's no way it wasn't. Arthur Smith wants the ground and pound and wants an elite running back taking all the hits. Oh, man. I love Bijan Robinson. I think he's a great player, but that's nuts.
I think he's going to work out fine for the Falcons, but it's a weird pick because I thought they were already pretty much set at the position.
If Bijan Robinson is going number 8, just think how high Blake Corum's going to go next year. He's going to be top 5.
Does it scare? All right, Dylan. I'm interested to hear your opinion on this. How do you feel about drafting running backs in the first round? There's a lot of scared going around about that kind of thing. What do you think? Because they are interchangeable. They are interchangeable.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I think that the ceiling and the floor between the top and the worst running backs isn't very large.
All right, the Eagles are up. The 9th overall pick, they traded up for it. They traded a 4th-round pick next year for it. Goodell's announcing the pick right now. Here we go.
I'm predicting Skronsky.
Jalen Carter to the Eagles.
There we go.
There it is. I think that's a great pick for them. I think he has potential to be the best player in the draft. I know there's a little bit of baggage off the field. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the best guys out of this draft.
And it's also, if you talk about him having baggage off the field and all that stuff, you're going to a Super Bowl ready roster that's like, hey, this bull crap doesn't fly. It's the perfect scenario.
It's not
perfect
a dumpster
place.
fire organization where they let guys do whatever they want to. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, this is a perfect scenario. They have an elite defense already there in Philadelphia. That's a great pick. We're live. The Bears are picking at 10.
Here
They're
we go.
going to go offensive line here.
Okay.
Yep.
Tennessee.
They go, the Northwestern guy doesn't get picked. They went Darnell Wright from Tennessee. Bears needed O-line. That was smart. They just got a crap ton of assets everywhere. I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you got to be happy about this. Like, if you really believe in Justin Fields and you really believe in your team, and
Big guy.
you just need pieces. You need pieces. Next year, you're not winning the Super Bowl, even though that division sneaky up for grabs.
Packers.
Jordan
Love's going to be good.
People are going to be down on the Packers after Rodgers' departure. I think it's worth it.
Packers?
It's worth a
I think
sprinkle. It's worth a sprinkle.
I think it's the Lions.
I mean, the Lions are definitely going to be up there, but it's worth a sprinkle in Green Bay.
I like the Lions, but that division is wide open now.
Okay. No, I'm okay with that. That's good.
We're not hopping off. We're not hopping off. We were going to hop off
I'm okay
after.
with that.
We have to wait until Will Levis. I don't know where he's going.
That's shocking. Dylan is a Titans guy. You like this?
Okay, but
Yeah, I'm
first
good
off,
with
if
that.
you're listening right now, you didn't hear the pick. Peter Skronsky from Northwestern, taken by the Titans, offensive lineman. I'm going to be honest with you guys, all the listeners, everyone. I don't know. I don't know how good he is. I don't know these offensive.
I didn't watch much Northwestern.
And also, if an offensive lineman is going in the first round, I'm always going to think he's a good player.
I guarantee you watched one Northwestern game. Northwestern, Nebraska, and Ireland.
Oh, I watched it.
First game of the
Okay,
year.
I did watch that, yes.
And the overhit.
But that's probably
the
it.
overhit in that game.
Yeah, that was
That was
That
so
was big.
long ago. Golly.
That was so long ago. Holy crap. And we're getting that this August, but August is a long, long ways away. We got
So where does
NBA
Levis go
players.
now? Guys, we could be talking like Levis slipping like top 20 because Detroit, Green Bay, New England, or any of them
Hear
three
me
taking
out.
a quarterback?
Hear me out. Does Will Levis feel like a New England Patriot?
Yep, I was gonna say that.
Are they
That
done
would
with
not
Mac? Are
surprise
they done
me.
with Mac already? God.
He feels like a New England Patriot. I would be done with Mac. I don't see how it can be great with Mac Jones.
Your ceiling with Mac Jones is pretty low, I gotta say.
I don't know if your ceiling with Levis is much higher.
Oh, I agree.
Like if I'm,
I agree.
But wait. But you're saying you're a Levis guy, and then you're saying he
I agree.
doesn't have much higher potential than Mac Jones. If you're a Levis guy, you
He's
have
consistent.
to talk yourself into him being above Kirk Cousins.
I don't know. I mean, it's just hard. I don't know. It's hard to say if he's going to be better or worse than Kirk Cousins. Will Levis, you know what you're getting, and I don't think his floor is low. I think Mac Jones is an honest comparison, but I think if you get the worst of Bryce Young, I think I would rather have an average Will Levis.
Well, the worst of Bryce Young is him not playing because he's hurt.
Yeah, that's it.
If he's on the
Or
field,
thrown it into the helmet of his offensive line.
if he's on the field, it's hard for me to see a scenario where the floor is that low.
Man, that's crazy. So the Titans go offensive tackle. There's a legit shot right now that Will Levis does not get drafted tonight.
No, I don't know about that.
All right, here we go. The Lions are picking at 12 right now.
This could be Levis.
Jameer Gibbs, running back, Alabama.
I don't hate that. He had a great season.
He's phenomenal. Like,
If I'm
that's
Jameer
one-
Gibbs, sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. In defense of Dylan, where he talks about, Bryce Young had all these weapons. He was great. Jameer Gibbs did make Bryce Young look very good. The weird thing is that the Lions have David Montgomery too.
Yeah.
Kind of a crowded backfield.
I mean, I like the pick because I just think he's so special, and he can also play wide receiver if you need him to too.
A lot of talent.
He's so dynamic, but I do think it was a little bit of a reach if I'm a Lions fan.
Well, hey, they got Montgomery, yeah, but like, hey, third down guy. I think Gibbs is pretty good.
Jahmyr Gibbs is a great like fantasy player, but then that's too crowded of a backfield, man.
It's going to be a risk to take one of those guys because you don't know what's going to happen with the rotations.
If you're a Lions fan, like you can't be like thrilled with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like you're excited because he's a fun running back and he's dynamic. But I liked the pick at first, and then when you think it through, it's not a great pick.
If you're a Lions fan,
Why?
I feel like you thought you already had your backfield set for this upcoming year, pretty much.
Yeah.
You need defense.
It's weird that both the first-round running backs are going to a situation where the team didn't really desperately need a running back. Or maybe that's just the talent level in the league and every team has a good RB1. I don't know.
Okay, let's wrap things up here right now. We're gonna start. Let's just start it right now. Who won the draft so far? Picks 1 through 20.
I think, in my eyes, the Panthers were a winner because they didn't screw it up. They didn't screw up the number one pick. They didn't go for that Levis hype BS. They didn't do anything crazy. For them to trade that much for the number one pick, I think they had to get Bryce Young, or they had to at least get somebody they were confident in, which turned out to be Bryce Young. They can't trade that much and miss. They cannot trade that much and miss, and nobody's going to be mad at them for getting Bryce Young. I think they're a winner. Weirdly enough, the Texans, I think, are a little bit of a winner too. I know they gave up a lot, but they got both their guys they wanted. I mean, I don't know how Stroud's going to be. Dylan's very down on Stroud. I don't know. Clearly, the owner wanted the quarterback, and maybe the coaching staff wanted the defensive guy. They got both. Yeah, they mortgage a little bit next year, but I think both parties right now will be happy going into this year, so maybe nobody gets fired. I don't know. Those are my two right now.
Yeah, that's. I think you bring up a good point that where nobody gets fired and both parties are happy because D'Amico Ryan's got his guy and the owner got a quarterback. I think that's a good point. I don't know if it's a win though because they did give up a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, time will tell with all of these. It's kind of a joke right now where we're saying, "Oh, they suck. That's stupid," or "They did well." Whatever. Like obviously, we're not going to know right away.
I got one more, Carter.
Every single blog, everywhere is going to put the Eagles winning this draft.
That was going to say the Eagles trading up to Jalen Carter, arguably the best talent in the draft. That's all I want to say.
They gave up a 4th round pick to move up to get him. Getting Jalen Carter at 9. Every single blog is going to say the Eagles got the best player in the first round or in this draft.
Yeah.
I would say Eagles. Colts getting Richardson, I think will turn out okay. For some reason, I just close my eyes and I see him playing well in a white Colts jersey. But hold on, picks in for the Chargers.
It's right here. Yeah, it's a good pick.
Is it Will Levis?
No, it is not Will Levis to the Chargers.
Oh,
that's not okay.
Quentin Johnson, number 21. He goes 21.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick for the Chargers. That's what they needed. They have the most injury-prone wide receiving core in the league. That's exactly what they needed. So, good pick by the Chargers. Secret winner now that we're talking about it. Who's the team that you come out tomorrow, you're going to see all the stupid draft grades or whatever that are utterly meaningless because every year teams say, though, this team did awful, whatever. Doesn't matter. But what team do you think the fans are going to feel most disappointed by coming into tomorrow?
The most puzzling pick, real quick, Dylan, I'll go. The most puzzling pick for me was the Lions taking Jahmyr Gibbs. That was the most puzzling pick. I don't know if fans are going to be mad or disappointed, but that made the least sense to me. So,
yeah, it seems like on Twitter people are upset with the Lions draft and Falcons drafting Bijan Robinson. So maybe those two, but and I think the Texans. Stroud's not going to pan out very well, but I don't know.
I think that's interesting too. The thing is, if you're a fan though, like I think most Texans fans are going to be super excited with their draft because like, holy crap, we got Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud when they did have to pay a price.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think you guys bring it up. Like every fan of the Lions is pissed. Like, why would you not be pissed if you're a Lions fan right now? Like, you already have a loaded backfield. Even the Falcons, like you have the 8th overall pick. You already have a loaded backfield. Yes, you are getting dudes in Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not saying those guys aren't good, but you can get running backs later. Like you can make it work with running backs. And when you already have those running backs on your roster, like the Lions signed David Montgomery. Like unless they trade DeAndre Swift tomorrow, none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up shop here. Thank you so much for listening. Great show, fellas. Round of applause for us. Great show. All right, thanks for listening to today's show. Thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you. It's been edited. It's been tightened up. We were on here for like almost two and a half hours. So long show from the fellas. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry if we missed the Will Levis stuff.
I'm not sorry. He dropped this far. I'm not sorry. No, we're not sorry. He's irrelevant now.
We'll be back next week. Connor and I, we have to do NBA playoffs round 2.
Yeah.
I think we'll bring in Zach Noble for that one. We have to do NBA playoffs next week. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Subscribe. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. The TikTok is blowing up. Shout out Dylan for the CJ Stroud video. Got to give credit where credit is due. Edited that, posted it on there. It's almost 500,000 views. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But follow us on TikTok everywhere. Thank you so much for listening. Cannot wait for football season. Go Panthers. Keep pounding. Bryce Young, you are a Super Bowl champion in 2024. Can't wait. Thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next time.